So your mountain living with CTE in the Wild West. We get into chapter 19 now. We're almost done. It's really getting real with this one. In the description of my book, there is talk of battling tweakers. So we're going to get to some of that in here. Landing at the river. About 2 years before we lost our ranch, that horrible fire, my father, in his business foresight, invested in a river suites with us. It was a 2-home apartment complex right off the Kern River in Kernville. Excuse me. Wendy now had her venue for the spa retreat we had originally worked to build on at the ranch. When the time came and everything was right, it made more sense to buy this place right off the river rather than do new construction on the ranch. Thank the angels that we didn't build up on the mountain as it all burned. For 2 to 3 years before the fire, we had worked to get this place perfect for the spa retreat that we had always envisioned. It was a really special place. You can check it out at www.sacredmountain, and it's MTN for mountainriversuites.com. When we first got the river suites, we didn't have to do much. The biggest thing had to be done was new tile in the lower unit. All the other upgrades were things we wanted to do. The bathhouse in the back was the biggest accomplishment, along with my outdoor shower. Construction is tough enough, and I had just begun to lose my mind when we bought the place, so pain and seizures were a daily thing. I've always had the CTE symptoms, but we started the river suites, the actual brain damage started to show. I had ridden out the crazy of CTE for 24 years, most of them on the mountain. But as I said earlier, and you're strong enough to not off yourself, then the small bus will come get you. It's not so bad. You're still rolling. I was now just a bit of a rolling retard. Big time doing construction. Alliteration is my favorite. I know now not to ever use a jackhammer. Don't ever use a jackhammer if you're sick. When the ranch burned, we were fully booked at the river suites, and even though we had to drive to get a hotel while our own river suites was rented, it wasn't going to be our karma to cancel other people's vacations just because we lost everything we owned. In addition, at that time, I was really busy with real estate deals like the Pine Springs fiasco and others mentioned in earlier chapters. We worked for 38 days straight, with bouts of tears and also a sense of disconnection, not really talking about things too much at first, similar to when we were abducted by UFOs as a family. Pure shock combined with discomfort and disbelief. I've been on the edge of death now for over 2 years, just finished the river suites, and now after 38 days of living in hotels an hour away, we were landing at our own river suites. The hotel was a happy relief at first to be able to have a place to stay where we felt some connection to. The 2 units were just enough to house the family. While there we felt stuck, just in limbo, not sure where we were going to end up or how things would work out. I was at the time still using a couple of bottles of wine in the evening to pass out. Wine hangover in the AM fixed by my morning dose of cannabis oil, then more cannabis oil, then more wine. I did that over and over every day for so long. Month went by, just stuck in a hotel waiting for money. And then finally, when the check came, we had to realize that we didn't have enough to rebuild our home. We didn't have enough to buy up at Kernville at the river, so we were just stuck. I'd started to come to the realization that the 2 hotel suites could be a family home for us all. It wasn't real cool, however, because there is a mortgage on the hotel. So we were eating a big dollar amount every month that we were in there, and it's not rented. I had finally figured that I needed to make something happen. The hotel over the 2 years was a good supplement to our income with real estate and massage. So us living there took the good business and turned it into a big bill. A full 6 months went by. We discovered, or were actually told by one of the Wendy's clients, that you can see right through the slats of the shower. I think she said, my outdoor shower. I think she said something about being cool with nudity. Ha ha ha. That might sound interesting, but was not what we were going for. After about 10 minutes of looking at the shower from the little different perspective, like the master bedroom of the Earth Suite, it was definitely a spa nudity thing. That, however, was not the intent of my two-person outdoor shower. It was for a couple to feel comfortable together, not for a couple to be voyeuristic. With flush red cheeks and a will to make the outdoor shower the best in the world, we started completing what could be done. I came to one morning and see that Wendy had started gluing little glass beads and tile pieces in the cracks between the shower rungs. It was just a small area that she did, but for days it drove me crazy. I can't stand unfinished projects, and for me that was a started project, not an idea. Where Wendy was putting a design up to see if she may want it that way, I took it as an unfinished project, and that my injured brain could do it without pain. So I went with glass beads. Let me just show you some pictures of the river suites, and you can check this all online, or even better, come stay with us. There's the hotel. That's the soaking bathtubs. There's 2 of them, and this is the outdoor shower. It's world class. People love it. We get lots of compliments and such. Return guests all the time. The boys would make a bit of fun at my bedazzling work. I found myself getting a feeling of accomplishment on daily basis with the beads. Silly, right? No, it's a good beads. Very good beads. I would suggest it to anyone who is looking for an escape from a similar purgatory to the one that we felt we were in. To the boys, I was just being way too gay, gluing glass beads on for hours a day. There was mention of how high I must have been getting on the super glue, bedazzling. I am not sure. I am still not quite done with the beads and have had to re-glue some already. With all the sitting around, bedazzling, and stress-free living at the hotel, if you can believe it, I had a healing or a remission of sorts. The damage was still there all over my brain, but after 3 years on the oil, I was now able to think around all the damage, think around all the pain, all the retardation. The oil had worked. This one morning, I got up and didn't need the oil. I just didn't need it and felt a joy I had never felt, or at least since I was very little, since before I played football. I had felt as if joy was allowed back in my life. I was able to do anything that I used to do, and it was fun. I was able to grocery shop while skipping around, laughing, sticking cucumber hanging out of an apple pile. You stick a cucumber in the apples and it makes a face or something else. It's hilarious. You got to try it. The produce manager ain't gonna like you. You should do that. It's funny. Singing and dancing for no other reason than I wasn't in pain. Life was looking like it was going to start over. I did not just all the way I had hoped. Just not the way I had hoped. Definitely not the way I'd hoped. I said to Wendy one night, we're discussing options we had and how bad those options really were. We needed to pull off a house for our family and keep the hotel. I thought I was ending the conversation with the word, you got to get what you need in this world. You got to go get what you need in this world. Wendy then said, you need to slow down and let the universe guide us. I then said, opportunities don't just walk up to you. You got to go get them. Of course, the next day I was getting ready to use the outdoor shower and up walk this neighbor. Wendy met him outside away from me, and I was more and a little uncomfortable. Who the hell is this guy? Why is she talking to him so long? Get rid of this idiot so I can take an outdoor shower. When Wendy got back, and she said she let me know that the night before I was completely wrong. This guy walked up and did just that, offer us an opportunity to buy his place just one door up from our river suites. It was an old closed down restaurant and 2 homes in the back. Wendy was instantly super excited, and I immediately had a reservation. What a shithole this place was. I say that in the book, it's that place. It's this place. I can say with all honesty, we chewed on the idea back and forth for some time. We were, of course, shy on funds just a bit, so my parents were gracious enough to help out and roll us into the into the river suites. The business opportunity for the restaurants to be my real estate office and the 2 houses to hold all of us was perfect. Not to mention the 35-second walk to work. The Old West theme to the restaurant was a deal for our sacred mountain. You could see the river is the mountain. You see The river is the mountains and has the Old West vibe. However, we were from Walker Basin where them real cowboys roam. So where others would have felt freaked by the western town, we felt at home. However, the scary mannequins in front of the restaurant, the Tweeker tenants, and unknown at the time to us Tweeker squatters, also a few ghosts had to go. We sure were looking at the place perfectly fit for our needs and skills. However, it was scary, not because of ghosts, but all the work. While we were going through the place, the amount of damage was staggering. I had more than one conversation with Wendy about my recent healing and what this might do to me. We had come to an agreement that we had just enough money to hire trades to get in the home, sparing me from construction. We did a couple of negotiations with the owner while in escrow to handle some of the damages. Once we closed escrow and got into the place, we had our eyes open to how much work there was. Like with any project, you're only as good as your trade, so of course we ended up doing most everything ourselves. Shit. We did the purchase agreement with one major condition. The tenants had to be out of the place before we would close escrow. Wendy got a message from the seller about a creepy lady standing in front of the restaurant for a long time with 2 Rottweilers. The tenant was complaining. Wendy was quick to let the seller know that it was her. She is creepy, and those are our Rottweilers. Wendy told him she stood there for over a half an hour contemplating paint colors. She also let the seller know she would be doing that frequently until we closed. We heard that the gal who complained was a local drug dealer in the back. We thought it was funny that she was scared of us, but I can understand why. We are known in certain circles for our ways up on the mountain or in Walker Basin, the things we've done, and how we handle ourselves. We likewise knew all about her drug-pushing ways, living in the hotel for 6 months. The first time we were really alerted to it was when our boys came back from the little convenience store just up the street and said there was some guy wasted at the abandoned restaurant. Aiden said, "Mom, you got to come see this." As Wendy walked by, there was one guy in a passenger seat with his head on a swivel back and forth, frantically looking around, obviously tweaking his testicles off. The other guy had his shirt off and was dead looking on the hood. Then he would sit up and start hysterically laughing and then would pass back out on the hood. Then a minute or two later, he would sit up, back up, laughing to himself and laughing his ass off. At the time, the other guy, his head still on a swivel. After experiencing all that ridiculous behavior, we watched all the traffic, all the tweakers. We are wise to that game. That tenant left with no issues, but did have an altercation with Wendy on the way out. The other tenant that had to go was the old lady in the couch. That was really disgusting, but this lady seemed to be bedridden to this couch. The place was so full of cigarette smoke that it was hard to see all the damage and absolute filth. She threatened Rob that she was leaving if someone else came to see the place. We made sure to have a couple more showings. Once she was out, it was the most disgusting pig I've ever seen. The toilet was clogged for a long time, obviously, and there was feces smeared along the sides of the pink commode. The trash was super bad because it became her toilet for all the diapers. I actually had to type this as the memories are just disturbing to me. It's hard. It's gross. She left, and that will be a later project, that place. We're on that project finally now. We gutted it and cleaned it up, but it still smells like cigarettes and old gross. When we took possession of the property, the nice antique wood-burning stove that was in the back house happened to disappear the day before. Wendy was not too happy to see the former tenant a couple of days after we closed escrow on the property headed to the back house. As my lady rounded the corner to the new place, she happened to hear voices, so she already had her hands on her weapon. Wendy then said to the former tenant, "What the hell are you doing here?" The tenant replied in true Tweeker form, "Just cleaning some stuff." Wendy then let him know that we got a wood-burning stove, an electric stove stolen, and they needed to get the hell out of there. We didn't want anything else missing. The woman accompanying the former tenant had been nicknamed Hellbeast. As she is approximately 6'4", was super sweaty on a cold day, couldn't stand still, rocking around wasted. Hellbeast then said to Wendy, "Are you the bitch that bought this place? Because I hate you. This is my new best friend, and you're taking her away from me." Wendy then replied, "I ain't afraid of you. You better calm the fuck down. I am armed." Then Wendy looked at the former tenant and said, "Is this one of your customers?" The tenant smacked her friend and said, "Calm down." Wendy then said to the former tenant, "We don't need any more cleaning from you. Please don't come back." It took another 15 minutes to get the hell beast off the property. She was so wasted that she was stopping, putting her hands on her knees and going, "Whew, I'm so wasted." They eventually left. A couple of weeks later, I was at the back house working on some construction nightmares, and a woman started walking up. So Wendy escorted her to the front. They had some words at the front of the property, and that was it. I figured Wendy was talking to some woman about massage or something. I began thinking it was taking too long. I wondered if impatience is a CTE condition. When Wendy got back, she started to tell me exactly them women were. Not ladies by any means. It was a former tenant back with Hellbeast. As Wendy approached, they were commentating on us taking down the old fence panels. The Hellbeast then said, "Why don't you give me those old fence panels? I will improve your property value if you let me have them to cover up all the broken down cars on my property." Wendy said, "Are you fucking kidding? Are you effing kidding me? Get the F out of here. What makes you think you could come back after last time?" Hellbeast then just looked at Wendy. This time, Wendy's weapon was on her hip, and my lady's arms were crossed in defiance position, obviously exposing the sidearm, making it visible. Wendy then said, "What, are you too high the last time to understand? You come back here, and I'll shoot you in the face next time. Don't come back." The Hellbeast then looked up the mountains and said, "Whew, I'm so high," stumbled a bit, and then headed off the property. The former tenant was waiting in the car at the road. I was so glad that Wendy stepped up to them tweakers. Little did I know that was just the beginning. I need to take a quick break.